Hello everyone and welcome to my talk for this year's BALIP PIM on multimodality. My name is Katie Breschenhofer and I am a PhD candidate of English and American Studies at the University of Vienna in Austria, and I'm also an EAP instructor at Webster Vienna Private University. So today my talk is going to be focusing on the collaborative potential of multimodal online course materials. So first I'll provide a brief context. Then I'll discern between digital and what I call fully online course materials, and then I'll delve into a very specific example for online course materials on Wikiversity, and then I'll discuss opportunities for learners, some considerations that I deem important before reaching a conclusion, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have to the best of my abilities. So, for some context, as we're all aware, we very much in EAP like using these virtual learning environments. So sites like Canvas, Blackboard, Microsoft Teams, Moodle, and so on. So these currently used VLEs let us upload course materials for our students. So students then download the files that we upload, and this leads to a very frequent uploading and downloading of files. This, however, also means that there's no permanent link between the actual file and the digital place that the file is uploaded to. So this could, for example, lead to problems such as a teacher might upload a timetable that they created on Microsoft Word onto Microsoft Teams, and the student then will download the timetable onto their mobile device or their smartphone for convenience, for example. If the teacher now has to make updates or changes to the timetable, to the original file, they have to do this on their own device and then upload the new version onto Microsoft Teams and delete the old version off of Microsoft Teams. Now, the student already has downloaded the old version of the timetable onto their phone. If the student is not aware of this change, if they somehow miss the memo, they don't get the notification, or they don't hear the announcement of the teacher, they will continue to use the old version on their smartphone. And as we all know, using outdated timetables can lead to all sorts of problems. So a solution that I propose for this and other problems is the use of fully online course materials. Now, what do I mean when I say fully online? Here I distinguish digital online materials from fully online course materials. So digital materials, in my view, are the materials we're all very familiar with. So these are materials that the teacher or course coordinator creates digitally and uploads onto a VLE, a virtual learning environment. And these materials are often stored and organized into folders on the VLE. And from these folders, the student can then download the materials and edit and engage with them on their own devices as downloaded files. Now, fully online course materials are ones that the teacher or course coordinator creates and edits online already. So the students also engage with the materials online. Everything happens fully online. The materials are not uploaded as files that you have to download. They're not so much stored in different folders. They're all accessible through online links. So there's not a lot of downloading or uploading or re-uploading happening, and the changes that anyone makes to these online resources are immediate. So there's no revised version, version 2, final version, and so on. Any changes that are made to the fully online course materials happen with immediate effect. So you can really picture fully online course materials as existing on a sort of website. And if the website is changed, anyone accessing the website after the change has been made will see the new version. The old version doesn't exist anymore, so to say. Now, this brings me to today's example, Wikiversity. So I chose Wikiversity as just one of many examples for places, online places, to create and provide fully online courses and course materials. So any principles or examples or methods that I discussed today could also be applied to other sites, for example, WordPress. A few disclaimers. I'm in no way an expert on Wikiversity. I'm not affiliated with Wikiversity, and online landscapes are always changing, so anything that I discuss today might not be accurate or relevant anymore in 5 years from now, for example. So why did I choose to focus on Wikiversity specifically? I think that it's a quite familiar format. We all know what Wikipedia looks like, and I'm pretty sure all of our students are very familiar with Wikipedia as well. The interface is quite user-friendly, and there are no overwhelming amounts of editing options for anyone using Wikiversity. Now on WordPress, that's a site, for anyone wanting to make a website. And here the editing options are much more vast. You can choose the colors, the fonts, different layout options. That's not the case on Wikiversity, and I think that's good because a lot of design choices might distract from the actual course content and the actual purpose of an online course. So let's now move on to today's example. I created a Wikiversity course for this presentation today. I called it the Collaborative Potential of Multimodal Online Course Materials. So let's access this right now. So using this URL, anyone really can access this course. Wikiversity is a very accessible page where anyone can really access information. It's very open access and open science friendly in that way. So here I have a bit of information, definitions and concepts that I've already covered in my presentation so far. For example, the difference between digital and fully online course materials. And then down here, this is an example for how you can make a Wikiversity page very collaborative and interactive. So here I included a couple of hyperlinks that lead you to new pages, sub-pages of my main page. So if we click on Collaborative Page, I call this a space for collaboration, where I have a few reflection prompts, and then anyone visiting the site, the subpage, can respond to the prompts by clicking Edit up here. You can do this anonymously as someone who's not logged in as a registered user, or you can do this through logging into your Wikiversity account if you've made one, and then you can, for example, respond to the prompt. You could say, I think Wikiversity offers ample opportunities for the co-construction of knowledge, for example. Then we can publish these changes, and the changes are here with immediate effect, and anyone visiting this page now sees the new version and the old version where the sentence, wasn't part of the page, is no longer visible unless we go on view history, and then we can see kind of an editing log of previous edits. But that's not important right now. So let's go back to the main page of my course. Down here, I have another subpage that you can look at in your own time. Because of the time restraints for today's presentation, I won't go through it in detail, but essentially I listed a few ideas for EAP tasks and prompts that you can do on Wikiversity. But I want to show you how students can be invited to make their own Wikiversity subpages on your course pages. So for example, they can click on Edit, and then using square brackets, they can simply use these square brackets and then type in, a name for their page. So we can call it, for example, Susan's page, and then kind of click Insert, and then kind of open the page in a new tab, and then click Create. We're not going to create the page now because there's no need to create Susan's page, but essentially if we clicked Create, we could add headings, subheadings, blog quotes, we could insert tables, we could insert galleries, reference lists, we could cite sources, and so on. But we don't have to do that right now, so we're going to close this without saving, and we're going to go back to the reading view with discarding the edits, so we don't see Susan's page right now. But I hope you get the gist of creating a new page. So in this way, students can be invited to co-construct meaning and create their own Wikiversity pages for specific prompts or tasks that you had in mind for them. Now, let's move on back to my presentation. So, The opportunities that I see here on multimodal, fully online platforms for learners include that they develop a sense of integrity and responsibility by creating and co-constructing meaning and disseminating knowledge online that is really accessible and out there to see by anyone, really. They have to make sure that they fact check the information they put out there, they cite their sources, and really be aware of their responsibility as disseminators of knowledge. They, of course, develop skills in digital literacy. This goes without saying. They can follow practices of collaboration and peer review by, proofreading each other's Wikiversity pages, by spell checking or checking for coherence and so on. They can critically reflect on open access principles. For example, do they want to publish their whole master thesis on a Wikiversity page? Probably not, because that opens it up to being falling victim to plagiarism. But they want to post, information about, critical thinking, or a page on the benefits of group work on Wikiversity. That might be a nice way for them to practice paraphrasing, summarizing skills, and citing and referencing skills, for example. On Wikiversity, students can also stay up to date with the latest versions of course information that the teacher or course coordinator puts out there. So they're really capable of keeping up to date with timetables, deadlines, lecture venue changes, announcements, because like I said, all the changes are there with immediate effect, and there are no old versions that you can kind of confuse with new versions in that sense. Now, Wikiversity, in my opinion, is not so much ideal for posting long essays or papers or theses or conducting summative assessments. So here it's really up to us as EAP professionals to use our kind of better judgment and discernment to see what do we want to use platforms like Wikiversity for, and what do we not want to use them for. Some concluding thoughts. Why this trend towards multimodality? I don't really have concrete answers for this, but I want to prompt you to think about this. What are the research-based benefits of multimodal course materials to students? And what might be the drawbacks? So obviously we promote digital literacy, paperlessness and sustainability, and open knowledge sharing by using these multimodal platforms, but we might also neglect analog skills. We might also increase the screen time for not only our students, but ourselves as teachers. And there might be a lack of online safeguarding if everything is out there and publicly accessible and online, so to say. So, multimodal online landscapes and virtual learning environments, in my opinion, should make the engagement with digital materials more user-friendly, and they should also inspire creativity and criticality. Multimodal online landscapes and virtual learning environments cannot and should not be viewed as one-size-fits-all replacements for offline exercises or other forms of assessments and interactions that take place in the actual face-to-face EAP classroom. So they're very much a supplement, but not a replacement for the more traditional or basic approaches and frameworks that we've been using so far. So, here I've included a few links for you to explore in your own time. So these are a few links by the makers of Wikiversity, how to add content, how to create educational content. This is a link to my Wikiversity course page created for today's PIM. And then I've also in the past created another Wikiversity course on open science literacy in English for academic purposes classes. You can also feel free to contribute to, this course or the course I created for today. These are my references in case you're interested, and this is my abstract for today's presentation. So I thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to hearing from you in the Q&A, and I will try my best to answer any questions that you may have. So thank you so much for your attention.